All right, welcome back to Ask the Mayor. We have three questions. A couple of them are going to just be a follow up. And our next meeting is going to be on July 10th at noon. So, without further ado, we're just going to jump right in. And the first question is, are you running for reelection?
Good question. And so, about every 4 years, the rumor comes up that I'm not running for reelection. And sadly to say, this cycle, the rumor is true. I'm not going to run for reelection. So this will be 10 years that I've been mayor of West Fork, and it's been an interesting and exciting 10 years. But personally, I believe that 10 years is long enough to hold a position like this. And so I think it's time for some fresh ideas. And so therefore, no, I am not running for reelection.
All right, so the next one dives into a topic which has also been up at City Council. So I'm going to reread the questions and I'll let you take it away. If the ordinance to annex the land that was recently proposed passed, how would the City Council ward map change, and when would that change take effect?
So we had this question. This was one that we needed to get some more information on, and we have reached out to the county to get some to the county and to regional planning to get information on this. So if the ordinance passes, the city council ward map is going to change completely. And so that we have 4 wards in the city of West Fork, and those wards are broken down so that each ward has approximately the same population representation in each ward. And so if we are to annex that land up Interstate 49, so that would extend some of our city limits north, the ward map would shift accordingly. And so basically what we've been told is each ward is going to shift northern, if you will. So that kind of that dividing line is going to shift north so that each ward still maintains roughly the same populace in it. And that would take effect pretty much immediately after the annexation would pass. So the vote for the annexation is going to be in November. That would take effect in December. And we would immediately, upon approval of that annexation, we would immediately begin the process of redrawing those wards so that it's going to take effect as soon as possible after the annexation would pass. And just so that everyone understands the annexation, we've mostly focused on those that are affected in that area that's being annexed with their questions, and they've came to the last 2 city council meetings to ask questions and to see what that would mean for them. But I want to make sure that the rest of the city of West Fork understands that, yes, we are looking to annex northerly up the Interstate 49 corridor primarily. So it would, the annexation would take West Fork city limits just north of the Campbell overpass on Interstate 49. So that would be adding 2 overpasses within the city limits and the property in proximity to Interstate 49. So kind of thinking the Interstate 49 corridor. And I think that's very important for the future of West Fork to have that land within the corporate city limits of West Fork. In the past, that's been part of our planning area. So if any development took place in that designated area, it would have came to West Fork planning to approve or not approve whatever that development was. The state, about a year ago, they removed city or municipality planning areas. And so with that change that the state made, any development that took place in that area would just go through county planning and would totally disregard any of the city's zoning ordinances or zoning requirements. And what we're talking about there is potential infrastructure. So what standards roads have to be brought up to, sewer and water and all of those things. So it was very important for the city to regain some what am I trying to say? Access to the planning of what happens in that area. And so that's why this has came about. But the reason I bring this up is the way this works is if it passes city council, so we're going to have another reading of this ordinance at our next meeting. And if the council votes to move this forward, what they're doing is they are pushing it to a vote of the public. And so in November on the ballot, there will be an ordinance for the city of West Fork to approve or disapprove annexation of this area. And all city residents will be able to vote on that, as well as all the residents in the affected annexation area. And so I do ask for, if this moves forward and you see it on the ballot, I do ask for a yes vote on that, because I think it's vital to the future of the city of West Fork.
And following up for that question is mostly interested in how long until they would have a chance to elect a council member to represent them.
Yeah, so we talked about this at the last council meeting, and so if that annexation goes through, their next the opportunity for the residents in that affected annexation area to elect a council member would be at the next election cycle. So essentially, it would be 2 years before we had another election that involved city council members. And so now, that being said, it would take 2 years before they could enter an election cycle. However, once that ward map has been changed, if a council member were to resign, the West Fork mayor could appoint someone from that area to sit on the council. But as far as electing someone to the city council, it would be the next election cycle, which would be, the 2028 election, I believe is when that would fall. So, some nuance to that. We could appoint someone sooner if a council member was to resign. But as far as an election cycle, it would be that next 2 year election cycle.
All right. And finally, what do you know about the outdoor spaces the PTO is hoping to build for the school district? Great
question. I know absolutely nothing about the PTO outdoor spaces. So this is the first I've heard of it. And as we've talked about before, the school and the city are completely separate entities. And so this is something the school is planning that is not in coordination with the city, which is cool. I will say that Marie is hoping to get someone from the West Fork School admin to come and sit in with us on an Ask the Mayor. We've kind of done the same thing with many of the department heads, and so I think that's a great idea. We communicate some, not as much as we should, with the school and the school with the city. So I think it would be a great opportunity, and potentially at our next Ask the Mayor. We haven't ran this past the school yet, so we don't know their availability, but hopefully we can get someone from the school administration to come sit in with us. And if we are able to do that, Marie will post that to make sure that we get questions specifically for them, as well as the typical Ask the Mayor questions. And so stay tuned for that. More to come. We will certainly get information on that, and we'll also reach out and try to get some information on these outdoor spaces as well, just so that we can update you if it takes a little bit longer to get the admin staff in here.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And we are done for today. So remember, our next one will be on July the 10th at noon. And don't forget to submit your questions. We'll see you then.